when it comes to culture, it's not a one size fits all thing. It's about, life is about creating who you are.
Absolutely.
Right? Creating who you are. So in my opinion, if I'm going to talk to people younger than us about how you embrace who you are and how you like become who you are, try new things, go to lectures, see what subjects you like. YouTube is a whole library of things for free, if I'm honest. Utilize that. It's not every day watch streamers, right? You can watch streamers. There's nothing wrong with watching streamers. You need a balance, in my opinion, of pop culture. Understand it, because that makes you intelligent too. Understanding pop culture. Balance of that, and then also other things that actually interest you, which will expand your mind, right? So just think about what you like. And also have conversations with people, because a lot of your friends may like the same things. Prime example, when I started playing tennis, I've noticed better people like playing tennis. I didn't know you played tennis. So I met a lot of people that like tennis, a lot of people that like squash, a lot of people that like dodgeball. Those aren't my main hobbies, but I would play them, right? And that's how you make new friends and build new connections. Not only because a lot of people, again, see it as a business thing. Oh, I'm making this connection so I can do business. I don't see it like that. I don't even like working in business with my friends. I prefer to just meet people for who they are and make genuine connections, because it's not everyday business as well. So yeah, I would say, like, rounding up what I'm trying to say and summarizing what I'm saying. Firstly, don't care what people think. Number two, it's about understanding what you actually like and not trying to fit in, because not everyone, but a lot of people say, I just want to fit in. To me, that's rubbish. It's another thing I don't understand, wanting to fit in. I've always wanted it to be different. Always wanted it to be different, because there's 8 billion people on this planet, and I don't want to be too similar to anybody. Jonas is Jonas.
100%.
You're yourself.
Three, 2, 1. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Jeoffrey Sarpong podcast. Today, hey, Jonas, brother, how are you?
I'm fantastic, bro. Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this conversation.
And I'm excited that you're here too. I'm super excited for this conversation, man. And remember, you were talking about it before that we met at this chess event that we had, and since then I've been keeping up with what you do. And then just seeing that, I was like, okay, would you like to come on and speak about certain topics that I've been thinking about? That's really important to me, but I've never found anyone who has either similar perspectives about it or that kind of stands there enough where we can have this conversation. So thank you for being here. First off, yeah, do you want to quickly introduce yourself for the audience so they get like a little bit of general topic about you?
Yeah, so firstly, again, thank you for having me. Really excited to be a part of this. People usually introduce themselves in a professional capacity, but I'm a lifelong learner. I don't want to sound like a pseudo intellect or anything like that, but I'm a young guy. I'm still like 25, but there's certain topics that I'm interested in. Have become interested in over the past few years, and I'm delving into them career-wise. Still figuring out what I actually want to do. You know, I've done a lot of public speaking in the past. I mean, you know about my TEDx talk, speaking in America, speaking at, Labour Party conference and all that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to influence things for the better, for the positive. And the more I grow up and learn and discern what I really want to do, the more I realize that it's like the Jehovah's window. The more you realize you don't actually know. So I'm a lifelong learner. That's what I'm going to introduce myself as. I'm not going to put a title of international speaker, TEDx speaker, all that kind of stuff. I'm just a young black king who just wants to see the world.
Let's go.
And be the best I can be. So I'm here, man, in my tracksuit, being authentically me. I don't have a trim. That's why I got the cap on as well. People are going to have stereotypes and be like, oh, he's not serious. Whatever, man. You guys will see what the conversation will
Exactly.
be. And so, yeah, man, hopefully the people take away some good stuff from this.
Exactly. No, thank you. And that was a great introduction. I think you're completely right. I'm also a lifelong learner. That's why I related to a lot of the stuff that I saw about you and all of the stuff that you've done. It's also like really, really like impressive, but also like you said, it's about continuing learning. And yeah, I love that you came in at the track you're representing, because I think that's, with the team with this episode, I think that's kind of like perfectly representative. So yeah, just a quick overview of what I want to talk about today, what I hope the conversation will kind of broadly cover on. So I've been thinking a lot about like how education shapes who we are. I've been trying to get involved in some educational spaces, and just being around people, I've been able to see the difference between what I was taught growing up about how important education is and what I'm seeing in real life, like as an adult, so like I'm thinking, and also just looking at my community, you know, like I call it the mandem, you know, like, you know, I mean, we all call it the mandem, but just looking at that community and how it treats education had me thinking about like, have we been mistaught or have we been shown education in the wrong light? You know, it's education how it's taught in schools and certain demographical schools. Is that the wrong way for us to kind of like be teaching education to the mandem? And because I see it as I go older that like they care less and less, but I'm seeing it in these spaces that like these things are actually super important.
Very important.
You know, these things are actually like super important. And so, yeah, so quick first question for you is that what was your relationship with education growing up? How has it changed as you've grown older and what do you think about it now?
Yeah, really good question, firstly. So I'll be real, just for context, I'm from a single parent household. Most people watching this will know my journey because they know me personally. Single parent household. And due to that, I grew up with my mum and my grandma. They were on it from the jump. They were like, this kid's gonna. I wanted to play FIFA, man, but they were like, you're gonna like. My mum put me in quite a lot of hobbies as well. I just had no consistency. I was always switching what I wanted to do. 1 minute I was doing keyboard, next minute I was drumming. 1 minute I was doing taekwondo, next minute I wasn't feeling it. No consistency. But we'll get into that probably in the latter part of the episode. However, when it comes to actual education, due to the fact that from a young, my mum and grandma were on it with getting me extra tutoring lessons, reading, all that kind of stuff, I was ahead of the curve. Like when I was in year 1, I knew stuff that year 3s were learning. And I think that led me to not only become bored of education, because my auntie used to tutor me, big up my Auntie Joan, right? She used to tutor me, right? So my mum would pay her and she'd come down and tutor me, obviously. And I would actually sitting there on Sunday morning watching SpongeBob, yeah? And like, say like it's 11 she was coming. 11:05, she's not here. I'd be gassed. Like, oh, she's not coming. Next thing I hear the knock. Oh, man, come on, man. Damn it. Yeah. But it's a thing where I think that made me, and that's no fault of anyone else. I'm not going to blame anyone for that. That's just, I was a kid, right? I wanted to have fun. When I'm in school, I'm an only child. I see other kids my age. I want to go and chat to them and be cool and stuff. But even in school, the way I was treated by teachers, and my peers as well, if I'm honest, didn't make me have the best relationship with education. So I was very people in my year tell me now, like people I went to secondary school with, they tell me you were very misunderstood, which I agree with personally, because I was labeled as this bad kid in primary school and secondary school. They were saying, oh, they wanted to send me to a pupil referral unit. It's like they were training me to be in a pupil referral unit. So it was kind of strange to me. Like I didn't really, I got picked on quite a bit. I wasn't perfect either, to be honest. I would say I've said stuff, there's stuff I've said to people and did to people in school that I do regret. So I wasn't perfect myself, but it just felt like I was treated differently. Whereas somebody would say, Jonas, you're blick. I'd say, oh, you're short. Oh, Jonas, you can't say that. Jonas, your mum this. Oh, your mum that. Oh, Jonas, you can't say that. Like, bro, what do you mean? What, the double standards are crazy. But, you know, we move, like it's all life lessons. So in school, I didn't really enjoy it. I was just there to have fun. But year 11, that's when year 10, like mid-year 10 is when I was like, all right, my fun's done now. Let's lock in. So I locked in, got my grades, move on to sixth form. Sixth form comes, like I was an animal. Like educationally, I was an academic weapon when I was in sixth form. Like my school, my sixth form, they rated me so highly, the teachers, that it was weird to me. But then I was sitting there. Obviously, I'm from a single parent household. My mum's been struggling my whole life. I've seen my mum slowly lose everything the older I've gotten. And I've seen certain guys I know doing fraud and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, I'm from South London, people doing drugs and stuff like that. I've seen some mad stuff, like growing up in South. I've seen some mad stuff I've nearly been involved in without me even wanting to be involved in mad things, just implicated just from being around, being in a certain school, going home in the area, nearly implicated in things that I didn't want to be involved at all. And essentially, my mum wanted me to go be the first to go to uni and all that. I rate uni personally. It's a hot take from me. I rate uni. I think you should get your degree personally, right? But for me, I was like, I want to make money legit. So when I found out I could get an apprenticeship at 16, 17, I was like, why am I here? So I down tools in sixth form and I just said, forget this. I'm putting all my effort into getting an apprenticeship. I got my apprenticeship. I left education and I was obviously apprenticeship is still education. So I was doing my apprenticeships and all that kind of stuff. But as I got older, I was still into personal development, right? So I was doing my personal development stuff, all the whole Think and Grow Riches, Atomic Habits, Rich Dad, Poor Dad stuff, right? But this year more so, and maybe even a couple years ago, but mainly this year, maybe even last year, like late last year, I started getting more into things like philosophy and stuff like that. I wanted to be more interested in that. And then I realized I still want to be involved in there's still academic subjects I want to learn that you learn in school, like the sciences. However, I want to learn about linguistics and stuff like that as well. There's other topics that I'm starting to learn. Astronomy is another thing, right? There's other topics I'm starting to learn that I'm like, this stuff is cool, man. Like, because even I know someone that did philosophy in uni, and they said to me, it's more fun learning philosophy on your own than doing a course on it that you're studying for. That probably is true. I don't know. I've never done philosophy in a school setting. I enjoy the philosophy I learn. I can choose who I want to learn about. If I want to learn about women's philosophers, who I think we can both agree people don't talk about enough, especially, unfortunately, the men that are only spoken about. But I know so many amazing women's philosophers. That's the stuff I learn. So I'm the stuff I like, I should say. So I prefer the informal education because I'm also the type of person that I like liberation. I like freedom to do what I want. So I can be told you have to study this, that, and the other now, but I still obviously prefer saying, what's Jonas's curriculum? Because there's other things that I want to learn, and I'm learning, like Black history and Pan-Africanism. I've been learning about that stuff for quite a while now. So there's a beauty in being able to choose what you want to learn. And I think education, I'm a big advocate for it. One of the young guys that I know who's 18 just went to uni. He had my American football and my ball pump, so I needed to go get it before he ran off to his uni out of London. And I was talking to him and I told him, I was giving him, he didn't ask for the advice. I hate giving unsolicited advice, but I was like, this is uni. Like, this is, you're a big boy now. Like, I've known you since you were 12. So I said to him, one of the things I said to him, the priority is the degree. You need to get the priority is a degree. I'm a big advocate for people getting their degrees.
Absolutely.
Because people will use that as a excuse to not give you roles or a pay raise and all that kind of stuff, right? I think things are changing a bit now, so I've heard. But I still think people, especially Black people, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Black people, you can't give people excuses already to reject you.
100%. And look, I want to get into. I love how you laid it out because it gives me good pointers. I want to get into so many of that. So starting off actually with the beginning, because you mentioned something that's super interesting about being educated by your auntie and obviously your mum and your grandma. Shout out to them, because
shout out to them.
It was kind of similar in my experience too. Like, I was very much like instilled like a love of learning from my mum and my sisters, who would just always tell me like, you gotta read, you gotta do this, and like they would only let me off certain events, or like I could only go to sleep after a certain time if I was reading, if I was doing homework, like, and that incentivized me to kind of want to read. And so like all of these stuff kind of like built up early on. But I've been thinking also, I want to know what you think about this too, about formal education. So we're talking about the institution, talking about going to schools, and informal education. So stuff that you learn from your family, stuff that you learn from your culture. And like, I'm thinking both are very important, but which one do you think shapes a person more? And which one do you think shaped you more, actually, if you want to get more deeper into that?
That's a really good question again. I'll be real. If you're talking about shaping a person, people's formative years are their teenage years and their latter childhood years, like pre-teen years. You're in school more than you're with your family, if we're honest. So I think it's formal education, if I'm honest. That's where a lot of people's mannerisms, dialects are all shaped.
Habits,
exactly.
Yeah.
For example, me going to school in Ends, and people don't think I'm from Ends when they meet me, which whether someone does or doesn't think I'm from Ends, I don't really care. Like, I'm still Jonas.
Yeah.
But you can, whether someone went to school in Ends or someone that lives in Ends went to a private school or a grammar school, it can shape that person.
Absolutely.
It can make them think about what's really cool, what's not, all that kind of stuff. So I think formal education, because also you have to make a choice when you're older to engage in informal education. Like, we go to debate events, we go to chess, for example, we go to lectures. We choose to go to these things. We invest our money to go to these things because we know it can develop us and we can learn from amazing people, right? A lot of people aren't that way inclined. They get to our ages and they want a club, which if you want to, I'm not a clubbing guy. I don't enjoy clubbing. I think it's a waste of money and a waste of time.
I agree.
But like, if my friends from like Birmingham come down one day, they're like, Jonas, I want to go to a club. I'm like, you ain't experienced it, so I'll go and I know where to go for clubs. Like, I did my time. Like, I know where to go, so I'll show you where to go, and I'll stay with you I'll come clubbing with you, but on a consistent basis. I don't feel the need. But a lot of people are like, yes, I'm going to go out and party, which I understand why people are that way inclined. But then there's other people who prefer games nights, for example. I go to a few games nights. I'm going to them less now, but I do engage and go to games nights where I can meet people in third spaces. But what I'm starting to like now is just going to, sometimes just chilling in an independent coffee shop, reading my book or working. I don't have to talk to somebody. I don't really, if I'm honest, really or forced myself to talk to somebody. But I will go. Like even the Africa Centre in London Bridge. I went there after work, literally the day before I went to Italy. I was meeting so many intelligent Pan-Africanists and people, and I was like, I need to come back here. They've got a Senegalese restaurant. They've got like African drinks being sold.
Okay, cool.
They even, you'll like it. They've even got an art exhibitions and stuff.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you need to tell me about that.
Yeah. So it's really good, the Africa Centre.
Yeah.
And they even do discussions on like discussion on Congo and all these other great African thinkers and stuff like that. That's what you choose to go into. That's the informal education you choose to surround yourself with. But formal education shapes you because you don't choose to be in formal education.
Let's talk about that then, because to me, I see the biggest problem, or like, you know, the biggest things that's holding back mandem, because you said some really good things on your first thing too about how never give a reason for people to reject you.
Yeah.
Never give a reason for people, especially if you're black, people to say no to you. And I feel like a lot of mandem, they do that way early on with their behavior, which you can't really control, especially at that age. And then you start to like, you know, like you talk about, they start to put a kind of reputation on you. You're the bad kid.
Yeah.
And so you're like, you have to now be, you know, no matter what you do, I remember about being in classroom, right? I'll be talking to someone, and because I was known as a person who talked, that person would be like, "Oh, why are you talking, Jeff? What do you mean I'm talking to someone?
That's to me,
How are we both not getting in trouble?" He's like, "No, you're the one talking. Why did you talk to him?"
Yeah.
So these stuff, it becomes a reputation thing, and like you kind of like you struggle to get past it as you get older and older. I'm focusing on what I want to talk about today. I'm focused on how we figure that out. What is the issue there? How do people, you know, like you were saying, when they get older, not lean towards education more, not lean towards lectures, but actually they start going clubbing and just saying, forget education, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I've done with uni. But like, you know, they start to like lose themselves. And not, I mean, you can do what you want. Any person, you know, this is your life. But I feel like you don't grow, you don't, like, if you don't keep educating yourself and if you don't keep learning, you've kind of become stagnant a little bit.
Yeah.
And like if a whole culture is built on that, that's a problem, because like how do we teach the next generation to be more education focused? And then linking that in also, talk about class, like the people in the upper class aren't doing that.
No, they're not.
They're not doing that. They're teaching them kids very, very young how to like focus in this. And you go to these like lectures, you see everyone from the upper class there, even old people. So I'm seeing it and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, cool, there must be a disconnect here. So like, how do we, first, just can you comment on that disconnect? Where do you think we are going wrong as mandem, let's say, from like when we finish uni to when we start going clubbing? Like, why do you think we choose that path instead of that one?
I think firstly, the clubbing aspect is new. Like there's a reason that people go to uni and they want to have sex with all these different women and you know, get drunk all the time and all that kind of stuff. I didn't go uni, so I'm lucky that I've never had the uni mentality. One of my friends who did an apprenticeship actually calls it the uni mentality.
Yeah.
So I'm happy I've never had it, whereas I've seen a lot of my friends develop it. And some of them have broken out of the uni mentality quite early, which is good. But I think the fact that it's new, number one, you've got freedom. Number two, that those two alone make people already say, I've done this education thing before. I'm already studying in uni as well. They go to uni to study, remember? The priority of uni, let's keep it a buck. The priority of uni is not to make friends and have sex with many girls and go clubbing and stuff. The priority of uni is to get a degree.
Yes.
That's the bottom line, right?
Yes.
Nothing else. No other things do matter. Like I told one of my youngers, like make friends with learn to talk. I said learn to talk to women.
Yeah.
Don't get in a relationship. I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
But I said maybe if you see someone you actually like properly and she likes you, fairs, right? But for the most part, don't waste your time with that foolishness, man.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, that stuff is important, right? Making new friends for life, meeting people more intelligent than you, working on your hobbies, which is another thing, hobbies too. But the priority is to get a degree. Don't leave without a degree. That's that. Come on, bro. Like
that's a waste.
That's a waste of your debt. Exactly. It's a waste of money. So for me, I think firstly, it's the fact that you need to understand that, well, people need to understand that even the fact that, I'm going to make the point, it sounds like I'm rambling, but I'm going to make the point. I'm hearing this from third parties because I never went to uni. But the reason most people come out of uni, in my opinion, from what I've heard and my opinion, what I've been able to decipher from what I've heard and what I've seen is because people come out of uni and they're the same as everybody else. They've done their internships and all that kind of stuff, but you ain't got no hobbies. You ain't got any interesting books you've read. You're just your degree. You probably forget about your degree as well when you do finish. Because I know people that have done so many amazing courses, but they never talk about the things they learned in the courses. Like I know so many people that did philosophy that I've never spoken to about philosophy. And I will bring up things like politics and philosophy a lot.
Yeah, they're just like...
They don't engage, probably because also one of my guys from my primary school and secondary school, I see him quite a bit sometimes when he's coming back from work, and he told me, and he's always been top set, all that kind of stuff, right? Went to a good grammar school for sixth form. He told me, Jonas, I'm just tired. He said, I'm tired of this. Like, because he's been locked in from when we were young. Like we were in top set together in reception year 1, all that kind of stuff, until I stopped caring about school. He stayed in top set, whereas I dropped down sets because I just stopped caring. And he told me, Jonas, I'm just tired of always like locking in, essentially. So I think that kind of being, I don't want to say bogged down, that's not the right word, but being just tired of it. Then transitioning into adult life, which is a shock to the system coming out of uni as well, right? So I think those two things, firstly, link to it. And then the fact that it's not really, in my secondary school, people wanted to be academic. There's this whole thing of it's not cool to be academic. I think there's certain things that people say which aren't true. People do see, firstly, it to be cool to be academic. I don't know where that rhetoric came from. Similar to this rhetoric that people say about, oh, my mandem don't let me cry. Again, this whole thing about that, my guys let me cry. Yeah, big up them. My guys let me cry.
Big up mandem,
There's guys out there that are cool with that. But maybe your people aren't. But you can meet people who are, right? You can meet people that are locked in on that. So I think it's also people's circle and surroundings as well. Because some people in their worlds, they think, no, none of my friends would ever go to a debate night or a lecture. The amount of my people who, when I just mention I've been to those places, the amount of people I meet who I mention I go to lectures and debate nights that tell me, Jonas, please put me on, like, let me know when you're next going. They can pull up with me. There's people interested in these things, but what people don't understand is there's so many fields of study. It's not just one thing. It's not just the maths, the Englishes, the sciences. There's linguistics, as I mentioned earlier, astronomy, methodology. There's so many topics, right? You've got to be interested in at least 2 or 3.
Yes.
Come on.
Exactly.
So I think it's also a mindset thing, a mentality thing of I'm just tired of studying all the time, and sometimes you need a break.
Yeah, it's tough, because like you mentioned that tired thing, and I think I completely agree. A lot of my friends are like that too, where they're just drained from just like how education is taught. I think
that because of the learning too, you have different learning styles as well.
You know what I mean? And it's like you go to uni and it's just tests and grades, and so you're just cramming to get past those tests.
Exactly.
So once you pass, you're like, I'm done with that. I'm never looking at that book.
Yeah, it's trauma.
Yeah. But how are we traumatizing people from the stuff that they actually do care about? Exactly. So like that's a whole conversation about education system and how education can be done right. I think that needs to be dissected and looked again, because the way we're doing education in this country is making people, like you said, burnt out from when they finish the courses. So what they do is that they leave that and they go into a job where they don't even care about it anymore, because they got there and they're there and they're happy to be in that job, but they're happy for the stability rather than just the curiosity of being there.
Yeah, exactly. And what's funny, actually, you're talking about that. So I used to work, I'm not going to say the organization I worked for in the past, but people will find out, to be honest. They'll probably go and stalk me on LinkedIn. But I used to work for an organization. I loved working there so much, bro. I missed that. I miss my people there. I'll be right. I do miss my people there. And I do still talk to a few of them. But I left there. And the reason I left, I was 22, so this was last year. I left there. I wanted to stay, right? But I really deeped it, and I was like, if I stay here, do I think, from what I've seen in the last few months of my contract coming to an end, because it was the end of my apprenticeship, do I think I'm really going to grow and stretch the way I want to? I don't think I will, right? And there was stuff going on, and I was thinking there was stuff going on that wasn't really making... I'm not a problematic person, but there was stuff that was going on. I was just like, okay, noted, cool. Oh, interesting. Okay, this is how you're moving. Cool, okay, interesting. I'm not going to make a fuss or throw my toes at the pram or down tools, but I've just noted that this is how you're conducting yourself, noting that my contract's coming to an end. And it's a thing where I don't think it was personal at all, right? I don't think it was personal, and I've got no beef with this organization at all. I'd actually go back and work there. I'd actually would go back and work with them. Like I would. So it's a thing where what happened though was I saw the other organization. I was like, if I come here, I'm gonna have more opportunities to grow as a project manager or project officer. I'm gonna be able to grow my project management skills, be in a new sector because now I'm moving to a charity, so I'm gonna learn about the third sector now. It's in Central as well, so I'm gonna be having the experience of traveling into Central, which I hate, by the way. Now I'm sick of it. But even I just deeped it and thought, there's more. I was getting paid less. This other job that I moved to was paying me less than what my current organization were offering me. So I was like, I'm gonna take less money now, which some people would think is crazy. I'm gonna take less money now. I'm probably gonna lose more money on travel as well, to be real. But I will grow more as a professional. I have more things to use in job interviews, and I'll meet so many more amazing people, right? Because my new project that I'd be working on was a pan-London project rather than a borough project. So I'd be meeting people that aren't from the same area as me, right? So I said, I'm going to take that offer. So that right there was proof of lifelong learning, wanting to develop and be out of my comfort zone, right?
And betting on yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was people were saying, oh, it's a risky decision, Jonas. I wasn't thinking twice about it because I was like, this is my life. If I make a mistake on it, I can learn from it. I was 22 at the time. I'm 23 now. Like, I'm good. I'm alive. I'm kicking. You know what I mean? I'm looking fresh. You know what I mean? I'm cool. I've learned a lot in the last year as well.
Exactly.
So,
and you know what? I think this ties a lot back to what we were talking about before at the beginning about just like this education and just like, because I think where it can be encapsulated and it's like, how do you view yourself? Do you view yourself as just a tool to make money? Or do you view yourself as someone who's learning?
Exactly.
Like you introduce yourself as I'm someone on a journey of learning and you're still curious, you're still learning. When you view yourself like that, the choices you make reflect that.
Yeah.
And so you're going to make a choice of actually what's the best place for me to grow rather than what's the place that I'm stable and comfortable at.
Exactly.
Because it feels to me like if you just, and I think that's what it's such a tragic thing about when people stop learning and stop like being interested in all these things, because like you were saying before, like your friends, I want to go. They do still want to go. They have the motivation to go, but maybe it's not part of their habits. They just don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So that's maybe on the people that, you know, put these events on to kind of push it out there more. But when people start like getting into these places more, they start like having this like love for like learning, and then that I think is linked to like love for life.
Yes.
You know, and it's like a whole journey we're going on. And I feel like, and I wanted to ask the next question too, is like the question of like, do you feel like people will cap themselves? You know, like you were saying about how like you wanted to grow at this new place and not be not comfortable. You didn't say comfortable, like not you understood that this place was somewhere you could also grow and expand. Do you feel like some people just once they reach a certain stage, once they finish school, once they finish university, especially when it comes to learning, they just kind of like stop and they go like, okay, I've reached the ceiling. It's like, do you feel like there's a kind of invisible ceiling that people have amongst themselves, and they've kind of capped themselves and don't try to break through that, you know?
Yeah, I think so, because it's like, I think I might be pronouncing it wrong, but Jehora's window, right? Like I mentioned it, I think I mentioned it either off camera to you or when we first started. There gets to a point where you think that, and it's so naive, but you think that you know, like you crack the code. And like when I started learning this personal development, I was thinking, I was 17, 18 thinking, like I've got the code, Then I get to what, 21, 22, and I'm learning about all this other stuff. I'm like, no way. So I think there is a ceiling that people unconsciously cap themselves at. But also I've heard some people more older, to be honest, more in their 40s say, I'm happy with where I'm at. It gets to the point where, you can be happy where you're at. I think there's no issue with that. For example, me right now, as you know, I said it before on camera, I'm 23. I don't want to be a manager in an organ. I don't want to manage people. Like I will be happily be someone that is working but not managing someone. I'll obviously go for a raise and go for more responsibilities. But at this point in time, I don't want to be responsible for someone else in an organization. I don't have the capacity for that right now. And that's cool. I'm still at the start of my career. So it should be, if people don't understand, again, I don't care if they don't understand, because they're not me at the end of the day. So, and everyone's different. So I do think people, yes, do cap themselves at a certain point. And I think that, well, I can't even say I think, I don't know why. I'm not them. I don't understand. There's certain things I just don't, there's certain things that people do, if I'm honest, I just don't understand. And I was saying to my friend yesterday when I was on the phone to her, this is, I think I spoke to her 2 days in a row now. This may have been 2 days ago. It's becoming a blur. But I said to her, the wisest people know that sometimes you don't need to know everything. Like, some answers you just don't need. Like, for example, like, this is a random example. Say, for example, some people say, oh, I tried this drug and now I'm addicted. Wise people know. Sometimes I don't need to trust you, just don't need to try it. Like sometimes it's just like, nah, I don't need to try it.
Mistakes.
Learn from other people's mistakes. Like, a lot of, like, one of my guys, when I worked at my old organization, like, older Nigerian guy, not older, he's just in his 40s, but like, he's a Nigerian guy, he's cool. Like, big him up. He knows who he is. I don't even know if he's gonna watch this, but if you're watching this, you're big up yourself, right? He said so many, like, wise things to me. And one of the things he said to me when we were going to Little Bakery, you know, gonna get our croissants that we always got, he was like, if you look around the world, there's mistakes all around us. And it's facts. There are mistakes all around us. And it sounds so pessimistic, but it's the truth. I'd rather learn from someone else's mistakes than make it myself.
Absolutely.
Because that's going to fast track my learning, right?
Absolutely.
You could learn from everything. So for me, yes, back to the question, people do cap themselves at a certain point because they think in their minds, the world is so rigid in the way where it's like education up till 21, 22, you're done. Now you work. Whether you want to be an entrepreneur, a freelancer, an employee, whatever. That's the next stage. And then you retire. They're raising the retirement age. So let's say when we get to that age, it's like 73, 74. I don't know if it's there then. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about it. But that's what people think about. But then another thing, when it comes to this kind of capping yourself, people don't travel. And if they do travel, talking about people my age, they'll go to the party like Ibiza.
Yes.
Malta. Malta's okay because Malta you can do good things. Right?
Yeah.
Ayia Napa, all that. I have no interest going to like Marbella. I might go Ibiza for my stag do, but I might just go DR. If I'm going to go to a party island, it might be at least the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But there's that. When I went to Jamaica for my friend's 27th, there's so much I learned when I was there.
Yeah.
When I went to Houston, right? When it comes to American culture, I learned a lot about American culture. I'm a basketball guy. So going to my first basketball game, going to an NFL game, I learned, went to the NASA Space Center, had a private tour. That was his idea to do all of those things, by the way. I was obviously up for the basketball and NFL stuff. I like sports. But then when it came to, even when I went to, where else did I go? Where else have I gone recently? Well, let's talk about even going to Slovenia. I went to Slovenia for a conference. I learned, I didn't go to any museums or anything because I was there for the conference. But just being in that environment, even just seeing the architecture and the infrastructure of the country, I learned a lot. A lot of people, they'll travel to the same places as everybody else. One of my elders said to me as well, actually, he said this to me like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. He said, I'm not going to say what he said word for word, right? But he basically said, go to places where black people don't go to. Basically what he said. Because I was telling him about I want to go Afro Nation and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. I don't want to go anymore, but which is obviously cool. Nothing wrong with going to Afro Nation. If anything, you're putting money into the black pound, which I am a big advocate for. But everyone else does that. How are you gonna be different?
If you're just doing,
if you're doing the same.
It's so true because like even when we're talking about like all these things that people do, places that people go, it feels to me like everyone just comes out of uni and into the same kind of like life.
Yeah, 100%.
They all live that same life. They don't try to go outside of that anything else. And actually, we were speaking, and I want to go back on a point that we were talking about between like the difference in class.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the big things I've realized is there's a massive class difference, and it's not even, and it's not seen. It's not so obvious that people can point it out.
Yeah.
It's so implicit. Talk to me about the role you think class plays in this whole conversation that we're having. How do you think class differentiates people who educate themselves and like outside of school? And how do you think people in different classes approach education as opposed to people like, you know, from different backgrounds?
Firstly, culture's big on this. And when I say culture, it's in terms of the mentality culture rather than the culture of, like, for us, we're African, right? I'm half African, but you know, I'm African, I'm a Gambian, right? So not in terms of our tribes and our food and stuff like that culture. I'm talking more as in a mentality culture. Talking about the term like as a black Brit, right? So being a black person living in this country, obviously there are upper class black people who think like their white counterparts, right? Because they'll like look at Kwasi Kwata and he went to Eton. Yeah. So I don't know much about him, but I'm assuming he is upper class due to that. He was an MP.
Yeah.
Clearly, Kemi Badenoch, probably upper class because she is the leader of the, you know, the Conservative Party, right? So when it comes to these kind of things, right, I think the role class plays in it is the fact that firstly, their mindset is, I'm going to get you in the best form of education you can. If it's not grammar school, it's private school, right? And it's a thing where it starts from there. And then also probably at home, there's stuff that happens, the way they're educating them on certain things, also training them to run, if they run their own organization, their own firm, they're training them to get in to that firm, right? And then also, let's talk about nepotism. People say nepotism is bad. This person's a nepo baby. Nepotism happens all the time. I know people in lower classes that use nepotism to get people through the door. Do you get what I mean? So it's hypocritical.
Absolutely.
It's hypocritical. Like, I used to sit there and be like, no, I would never use this nepotism things. The stuff I've been seeing from people, I'm like, why did I never use the fact that I knew somebody to get in a position? Why did I have to make it harder for myself because I have good ethics, right? Because most people, they're like, no, forget that. The upper class, they're like, I don't care if this is my son. If I need to get him an internship when they're in year 10, I'm going to get them an internship, right? So it's a thing where I think it's that mentality aspect of it as well. And remember, a lot of people's attitude, it's the law of association. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Mum, dad, your 3 friends in school. If you go to a private school or grammar school, they're mostly academically inclined. And then also out of school, they have what you call the supercurricular activities. Like, we engage in supercurricular activities. I didn't grow up doing supercurricular activities. I don't know if you did, but the supercurricular activities, for people that may not know what that is voluntarily going to these lectures, going to these debate nights and all this kind of, there's loads more. You can research them. It's on the internet. Like, it's an actual thing that you can look into. But these are the things that Oxbridge students say in their interviews. They talk about the whole, I go to debate events and all that kind of stuff, but they can use the dialect and the lingo that is used in these debates as well. This house believes this, that, and the third, right? These are debates that they have at Oxford Union, Cambridge Union, and all these other debate events that we go to, right? So it's also that aspect of it, again, going back to the whole it being enticing to be educated. It's seen as the norm for them, right? It's seen as the norm to know all these things.
Absolutely.
So that is kind of the class thing. Whereas for us growing up in ends, it's about, like, again, in my school, no one can tell me different. People did want to be academic, but there was still the thing of who can get the most girls, who has the best drip, like who's got the best Nike trackie, like who's got the best trainers. That was still a thing. I didn't have those things. Like, I was seen as the broke kid, so I didn't have those things, right? So then when I got to 17, it was like, I'll invest in the books and stuff, but also I'm going to invest in a bit of designer things. And then I realized it's foolish.
Yes.
I had my quick little month or 2 phase of that, and then I'm done with it. Whereas these guys, again, the things they invest in, the clothes they invest in are quality. They'll go to buy clothes from Reese. They'll go to, I'm probably butchering the name, but Massimo Dutti and all these places. They'll invest in quality and never have to buy things again. They'll go to Halls and Curtis, get their suits tailored. We're going Primark. Like, nothing wrong with Primark. I don't like fast fashion. I don't think it's ethical. But there's just, when you deep the difference, even articulating this to you, it's mad when you deep the difference of things. And that's why it's so important to be careful of who you surround yourself with, right? Because I have friends who aren't like me, and that's fine. One thing about me is loyalty is one of my biggest things. And I think growing up in ends, that's why for me, loyalty is so important. Unless you do me dirty or you say something I don't like or you're jealous of me, we're bros for life. I'm not going to ditch you just because I'm thinking about this now and you're not, because we're still young at the end of the day. But when it comes to a lot of people in the upper class, their friends are just like them, right? Their friends are just, and that's okay. Like, I don't have no issue with being more intelligent than my friends. But what I do think is that if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room and I need to go to Gresham or another place and feel like an idiot.
100%.
Because I think that's what they do. But then once you learn, like, there's people, again, similar class to me, who will still do certain activities and hobbies and habits. Big up my boys Adam and Memphis. They will always do things. Memphis always wants to go play golf, play tennis. He's the one that put me onto Virgin Active Gym. There's certain things because I only knew David Lloyd's. I didn't know about like games like squash and stuff like that until Memphis was like, yo, I play squash. I was like, what? And then we started playing squash. I was like, this is hard. This is hard. So even like activities like that, they do from young.
Yes.
Sailing, stuff like that. Even scouts. I did fire cadets when I was younger. I wish I did scouts as well. So that stuff, people get them into from young. Whereas for us, it's the same things like football, and all that, which is cool. Football's, I don't play football.
Yeah.
I watch Arsenal, you know what I mean? That's my team. We won yesterday 2-0, right?
Let's not talk about football.
Yeah. But yeah, who do you support?
Liverpool. Liverpool.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So no, yeah, but no, you know what? Moving swiftly on. We'll talk about football afterwards.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? You're 100% right, actually. The way you just dissected it was beautiful, and I think it's so true. What I started to know was like, it was on three fronts, right?
Mhm.
First off, I started to work in the city.
Yes.
When I was working in the city, I seen all of these. I was either going to work with them, working with them, and then just being in and around the conversations that were happening, working under someone in that class, how they
How they think, yeah.
how they talk, how they
talk,
think,
yeah.
how they talk to their friends that are from the same class. I was like, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
And then I started going to these events and then having conversation with these professors and like with all these people, and then to see like they've been doing this for 30 years and like how would they educate themselves and how they prepare for these things. That was the second thing. And then last thing, I started working in this bar, which was like, it was just like, it was a private bar. Imagine it was like a private sports bar with like, there was a tennis, there was cricket, and there was hockey. So all of them white sports, the upper class sports, and they would come there afterwards, and you just see how they just, and I was like, oh, okay. All of those three things made me realize that, hey, they're not much different from us when it comes to their base habits. Like, if you were to draw a Venn diagram, we're actually more similar than we're not alike.
Yeah.
But the difference is actually so much like more for them, and they can use that value so much more, and they understand the game so much more.
Yeah.
They makes it so much more different for us. You know, like they still drink and they still do all of these dumb stuff that they you know, the bad aspects of our culture too. But for them, they do it in a way which I guess helps them socialize and with people like them, making business deals.
100%.
You know, so it's like I was starting to see all of this, and it made me think like, okay, cool. It is fascinating to see the class difference, and I think the UK. I think Kanye said it once. It's like it's not race war, it's a class war or something like that. The UK is very much known for that difference in class because it's very hard for you to break into that sphere, or like unless you're like from there, unless you make the money, unless you start talking like them or being like them. But I'm thinking, you know, like I think there's a new generation of people where I'm starting to see, because I have friends in that class. They're just like me. They think like me.
And a lot of them are cool.
A lot of them are cool, you know? And so you start realizing that, okay, there's no... the difference isn't really about bringing one class down or, you know, like bigging up another class. It's actually like understanding what your culture, like you mentioned that word at the beginning, what does your culture try to teach you? Are those good things? What are the good things? What are the bad things? How do I separate the two? You know, growing up for me, it was very big. Like I had friends from all different walks of life, right? I was just me. People just knew me as just me. And they didn't put any pressure on me to be there like them. That was very important because a lot of my other friends from the streets, they'll be being pressured to go sell drugs. They'll be being pressured to do this, and they'll be pressured to do this. And I was like, wait, why are you being pressured to do that? You know, but now I understand, you know, that's just the environment. So I think it's very important for us to be aware of these things, and so that people can make their own decisions, because a lot of people don't make the decision until it's too late. Yeah. You know, and then you see, when you grow up and you see another class and you're thinking, how am I not there? And it's like, well, no, the difference is that they just do different things, and they've been knowing about these pitfalls. And
young,
you know, like the financial pitfalls, or like not understanding like how to build a CV, or conduct yourself in a conversation, or conduct yourself in an interview. Yeah. These little things are very important. So very important for us to like learn these things and grow from them, you know?
So, and a lot of the time, as we mentioned off camera, you learn it through we had to learn it through experience. Like when I was first going for my apprenticeship, the amount of job interviews I flopped, bro. And then all of a sudden I get a suit from my mum buys me a suit from Primark, and now I'm starting to get respect. It's just little things like that. I just win like jumpers and stuff. That's another class thing.
Yeah.
The fact that a lot of us grow up poor. Yeah. And we can't afford to have suits. And a lot of people look at us. Firstly, we're black. Secondly, we don't know how to communicate with. A lot of us go to black schools as well. I went to a black primary school. My primary school was very black. And then I get secondary school, it was majority black, but there's quite a lot of white kids and a few Asian kids as well. My secondary school was quite diverse. My sixth form was more on the black side as well, if I'm honest. But that's not the real world. The real world, remember, in the UK, I don't know what percentage it is, but we're not the majority. in the UK, but a lot of us don't grow up knowing how to communicate
Yes.
with other people in other classes.
Mm-hmm.
And also, once we learn about things like systematic racism and all this kind of stuff, it makes us nervous. Like, they look at me a certain way because they see me like this or see me like that, or if I say this word, is like I used to say certain slang would slip out when I talk to people, and I think, oh no, like are they gonna think I'm unprofessional or something like that? Nowadays, I don't care, because I'm just like, this isn't me. I don't overdo the slang. I say what I want. I know I'm very intelligent, and if you don't like that, that's cool. Not everyone's going to be my friend. Not everyone's going to take to me. I can't control it. Some people just aren't going to like me. Some people are going to see me as a black kid. This has happened before. Even when I was 18, people saw me as a black kid who speaks well. And even other black people would say, oh, he's overconfident. I was like, but I don't brag about my achievements. You know, I don't brag about my achievements. People come to me and say, oh, I saw this on your Instagram, or I saw this. And I'm like, oh, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I don't go around saying all the stuff I've done. There's certain stuff people do, and I've done that I haven't even put on LinkedIn, right? I've just done it and not even posted it. I should post it, but it happened years ago, so I can't. I'll probably do a throwback post. But essentially, that's another thing. The fact that a lot of us are seen as arrogant or overconfident. I'm like, what? Because you expect us to be a certain way. That is counterintuitive to our growth. And then that's an issue for you, because you already had this picture of, oh, I'm expecting him to come with slang and start bopping over and all this kind of stuff and saying, oh, I want to get Morleys. I can eat Morleys still. It's not healthy. I'm trying to go veggie now. I'm not even trying to do this Morleys thing. But even if I wanted to, I can go to Morleys in a suit. You can't tell me nothing. Because I'm authentically me. And this is the thing, people code switch and stuff like that. People have their perspectives on code switching. I think being authentic helps you to connect with people better.
Absolutely.
Just like I was in Italy, as I told you a few days ago. I was authentically me throughout that trip. I was even saying certain things like, I'll be rude, I don't care what anyone... not even in a rude way, but in context of the conversation, I'd say, I don't think you should care what people think. I don't care what anyone thinks. That's that, right? I'm open to people's feedback and perspectives. One of my friends I made out there, she was always giving me feedback and saying, you should think like this, asking me about, like, challenging my mind, which I really, really appreciated. And I'm not going to tell her, you're wrong, you're chatting rubbish. Don't try to advise me on that, because I can learn from everybody. But there's a difference, because I know that the way some people are, they will try to say things and do things to hold you back. So I'm very cautious of not only who I surround myself with, but who I take advice from.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing too. I feel like learning what to differentiate between people, like, because people will say, oh, you can't do this. Meanwhile, they couldn't do it.
100%.
You know, and so like, I think Jay-Z said it. It's like, no, you couldn't do it. I don't have that limitation on myself. I think when you come from a certain background, you have to realize that early. 100%. That people are saying that not even to like be bad to you. They just don't think that's possible.
It's impossible to them,
You know, it's like to them, it's not, they don't have the mentality to be able to achieve that.
Even like when you deep it, people like Serena and Venus, like, people would think you're a woman, you're black, and tennis is seen, keyword seen, because I play tennis. I'm black. I'm
tennis too.
I'm very black, you know what I mean? You play tennis, you're black as well, right? We're West Africans, right? It's not seen as a black thing, like, let alone an African American thing, because that country's a whole nother place, right? The greatest women's tennis player and another top 3 women's tennis player of all time, and Venus and Serena, right?
Black.
They're black. They're from Compton. Around the time when NWA, nothing wrong with NWA, but we know what LA was like. We know what California was like during the cocaine epidemic and the 90s and stuff, right? We, like, NWA, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, they told us what was going on in those places. You've seen shit out of Compton, I'm sure. I've seen shit out of Compton, right? So it wasn't the best place to grow up in. That's way worse than the area I grew up in. Way worse. But they did it. But a lot of people, I haven't seen the film King Richard, so I don't know. But a lot of people probably told them and told Richard, you can't get these 2 black girls. That's a woman, black woman. And let me go back, right? Firstly, she's black. They're both black. Secondly, they're from Compton, so the class thing. And thirdly, they're women. So that's already difficult enough. Those are 3 things. Like, if you're talking about Equality Act 2012 and the 9 protected characteristics, even though class isn't on there, it underpins all of them, in my opinion, and like kind of perpetuates all of them silently. It's like an invisible thing. If you're talking about those 2, as in woman, being a woman, and being black, those are 2 protected characteristics already. The intersectionality of that is already there, right? So the fact that they still did it, a lot of people probably thought, you can't do that. but they did it.
Absolutely.
I saw Serena crip walk. You remember? Have you seen it when she crip walk? When she, you know what I mean? She crip walks. Yeah. Super Bowl, yes. But he on the tennis court.
Yeah.
They were probably thinking, how dare she do that?
See, that's the thing though, isn't it? It's like her being authentically herself in a space that doesn't really accept that was now going to be news. That's the crazy thing. When you really deep it, it's like the thing you're right, it is invincible, it's invisible because they won't say anything unless you do something that's out of pocket, their eyes, and then they'll comment on it, which I think, even when I go to these places and I know they're very much kind of like, trying to be inclusive, these like lecture places, but you do still have that kind of like, iffy, you have to act certain type of way because you are the minority in this majority of people, But actually, I wanted to ask a question too. There's a few questions I want to ask before we wrap up. First one is, having said everything we've talked about today and how we understand culture and everything and blackness and stuff like that, how do you now view culture? How do you now view like the role of culture in your life? Do you look at it as like, okay, this is just who I am. This is a part of me, but I'm not going to let you define me.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, how have you gotten there? What advice would you give to people who are like us, a bit younger than us, who, maybe think like us, but, they're surrounded by people who aren't like them and so they feel kind of out of place? What would you tell them about like how to be themselves and like not hide who they are?
Yeah. So again, brilliant question. I think it starts with, and this is basic advice, but it starts with not caring what people think, 100%. And that's what it says. I'm not going to explain more into that because that's what it says on the tin. That's a journey that people need to go on, not caring what people think. I had certain experiences when I was young which make me not care what people think, but not in an arrogant way, because someone even said to me when I was in Italy, it's good that you don't care what people think, but make sure it doesn't become an arrogant thing. That's really good advice. I think I'm a humble person. I'm sure my friends think I'm a humble person. My mum says I'm a humble person. So at this point in time, I'm good, right? But it can always get to that point, right? So you need to be cautious of that. So don't care what people think, number one. And number two, just accept who you are. If you like that nerdy stuff, I go around calling myself a nerd and a geek all the time. I don't give a toss.
Same.
And nobody could ever tell me different, because if they laugh at, firstly, no one around me will ever laugh at that.
Yeah.
And if they do, I'm that type of person. I'm direct. I'll just give them a look and tell them straight, don't do that. And I'll keep looking at them and just be like, that's not running. I say it straight. I'm very direct with people. So no one would continue doing that. And if they do, I'll just say fairs, whatever, and I'd leave. Because I don't have time for that, right? So firstly, accepting, if you like trains, for example, I don't know, trains or anime. Like, I like anime. Like, I'll tell her if I'm chatting to a girl and I'm on a date with a girl, I'll tell her I like anime. If she doesn't like that, cool. I don't care if you don't like anime. I've had girls tell me they don't like Marvel. Okay, I don't care. You can like, I actually like the fact that you don't like the same things as me, because I need my time to watch my Marvel or watch, my anime. Sometimes I don't want to be explaining everything that's going on. Why is Goku like this? Why is Naruto like? I don't want to explain that.
Yeah.
That's long.
Yeah.
Let me just watch my thing. So firstly, accepting who you are. Even chess, for example. Chess has become mad popular recently. How long have you been playing chess for?
Few years, 3-4 years, maybe.
That's way before it started becoming popular this year.
Yeah.
I've started playing in 2010, 2011, right? And it wasn't seen as cool to play chess. Oh well, I play chess. What's next, right? So accepting who you are, what you like, your quote unquote quirks, whatever. Even one time, I was at tennis. I played tennis, and I went to like the bar after with them. Sorry. And they were talking about, we were doing true truth, one lie, and one of my ones was, I taught myself to play chess when I was 9, right? Which is true. I did. People that know me know that's true. One girl said, "Oh, I bet you it's Jonas. That's that because Jonas likes quirky things." Firstly, she doesn't know me like that. To even say that, like, she just met me there and had a brief conversation with me that wasn't even long. It wasn't even long. Yeah, you don't know me like that. Like, and then number two, it's like, offense is a choice. If I'm soft, I can choose to be offended by it.
Yeah.
But I don't know this person, and I like playing chess. It makes me more intelligent. If she thinks that, that's cool. Like, we're not friends.
Yeah.
And even if we were friends, just because you are my friend doesn't mean I need to care about what you think.
Yeah.
So just that is one point. Not caring what people think is the first thing. Number two, when it comes to culture, people always say this thing of, like, people see a black person or an Asian person or a white person and have this thing, oh, you're acting black, you're acting white, you're acting Asian. That's just what you see through the media. And it's not just social media, it's also the news as well, right? What's being perpetuated as what black is. Being black is seen as, I'm wearing a tracksuit now, right? I'll wear a tracksuit, whether it's seen as a stereotypical black thing to do. People don't even know the history of tracksuits, which I'm not going to get into. You guys can do your own research into what the history of tracksuits are. It'll be good to do so. Take some assignments away from this episode, to be honest. So look into the history of tracksuits, actually, before companies like Nike and Adidas started using it and making money off of us, because it was a black thing when it started, right? So essentially, firstly, there's no one way to be a type of person. You are who you are, right? You are black. Whether you're Caribbean, African, whether you're my tribe is Mandinka. What tribe are you? Asante, right? Two different tribes, but we're black. We all have our own culture, but you can still be a different person within that culture, right? Culture is important to me, yes, but nobody can tell me because I'm black I can't wear a suit. What kind of foolishness is that? Nobody can tell me that because I'm black I shouldn't wear a tracksuit. That's foolish to me. If I wake up and want to wear a tracksuit, I'm gonna wear a tracksuit. If I wake up one day and I want to wear a suit to work, because best believe at work tomorrow I'm probably wearing my suit, but the day before I was in a tracksuit. Does it matter to me? No, right? I like basketball. Basketball is seen as a black thing. I don't care if it's seen as a black thing. I like dancing. It's seen as a black thing. I don't care. I'm a dance. I like chess. It's seen as a nerdy thing. Do I care? No. Because all these beautiful things make up who you are. And if you're not authentically you won't connect with people that actually like you for you, right? Absolutely. I'm not going to pretend I like other things because other people like it. I'll disagree and say, not even disagree, but I'll say, oh, interesting, cool, you like that, that's interesting. Like, for example, I like looking at art and understanding art history. I don't care, or it's not I don't care, but I don't like drawing. I'm not going to pretend I like drawing because someone I met likes drawing. I don't. There was one time in year 2, they made us do art for the whole day. I hated it. It was the worst day in my primary school life, right? But I'm not going to...
Shout out to your art teacher.
Yeah, big up to her. Big up to her. I was going to say her name there, but big up to her. She knows she's not even watching this, but yeah. She might do, you never know. But yeah, so essentially, when it comes to culture, it's not a one size fits all thing. It's about, life is about creating who you are. Absolutely. Right? Creating who you are. So in my opinion, if I'm going to talk to people younger than us about how you embrace who you are and how you like become who you are, try new things, go to lectures, see what subjects you like. YouTube is a whole library of things for free, if I'm honest. Utilize that. It's not every day watch streamers, right? You can watch streamers. There's nothing wrong with watching streamers. You need a balance, in my opinion, of pop culture. Understand it, because that makes you intelligent too. Understanding pop culture. Balance of that, and then also other things that actually interest you, which will expand your mind, right? So just think about what you like. And also have conversations with people, because a lot of your friends may like the same things. Prime example, when I started playing tennis, I've noticed better people like playing tennis. I didn't know you played tennis. So I met a lot of people that like tennis, a lot of people that like squash, a lot of people that like dodgeball. Those aren't my main hobbies, but I would play them, right? And that's how you make new friends and build new connections. Not only because a lot of people, again, see it as a business thing. Oh, I'm making this connection so I can do business. I don't see it like that. I don't even like working in business with my friends. I prefer to just meet people for who they are and make genuine connections, because it's not everyday business as well. So yeah, I would say, like, rounding up what I'm trying to say and summarizing what I'm saying. Firstly, don't care what people think. Number 2, it's about understanding what you actually like and not trying to fit in, because not everyone, but a lot of people say, I just want to fit in. To me, that's rubbish. It's another thing I don't understand, wanting to fit in. I've always wanted it to be different. Always wanted it to be different, because there's 8 billion people on this planet, and I don't want to be too similar to anybody. Jonas is Jonas. 100%. You're yourself. But a lot of people want to just be the same as everybody else, which I don't understand, if I'm honest. I'm not going to lie and say I understand. But
I mean, I understand it to a certain extent. I'm like you. I've always just understood just being myself is much more interesting to me. But I understand it, because I feel like a lot of people just can't withstand being by themselves.
No, yeah.
I think that's what it is, like, even the whole thing of culture, they let people fall for the trap of culture, which is like, I'm this from this country, so I'm gonna just embody only this. And then they take on the habits, or like the things that everyone from that culture is supposed to, and then they just stick to that because it's safe. It's safe to be just known as a mandem or roadman, because you don't have to like do anything new. You don't have to be yourself. You just kind of you wear the things you're supposed to wear, and then you talk about the same topics as everyone else talks about, so you're not really like singled out for who you are.
Yeah.
I think that may be safe, but I think what I'm trying to say, and I think what you're trying to say, is that like, there's so much to be found in being yourself.
100%.
There's so much to be found in just embracing things that are outside your identity or outside your culture or outside who you're supposed to be, because there is actually where you find who you really are.
Exactly.
You know, as you get older and older, that's what you really want to, that's what you really care about.
Yeah.
People stop caring about what everyone else thinks, really, like around this age. Around you were saying, it's just like, I don't care. But by then, what have you actually like tried to influence in your life, you know?
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, I was always scared of like appearing too smart. So I would dumb myself down, you know. So I'll talk about the stuff that I think everyone else wanted to talk about, but I wouldn't like engage in just like hypothetical. Okay, do you guys think about the morality? Do you guys think about space? Do you guys think about like psychology? Do you guys think about like evolution? Like these things that I'm now so fascinated by that all I do is think about them and go to lectures about them and talk to people about them on this podcast is actually something that I always wanted to do when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I never found the confidence in myself. So I guess like, echoing your point, be confident in yourself. The things that you're hiding about yourself now, in the future is actually what's going to become more interesting about you. It's actually what's going to just differentiate you from everyone else. Actually, what's going to make you more interesting to yourself. You know, so focus on that. To wrap it up, I always ask people this question about the human condition, about what it means to be human, about what it means to be on this journey that we're all going on. You know, we're in a floating rock in space, but to us,
that's what I be telling.
but to us it means something, and to us it's important. So what do you think it means? What do you think the meaning of life is? And what do you think? What's one message that you've realized about that you kind of you hold close to yourself that you want to give to the people?
Yeah, so very philosophical. Yeah, pick up yourself. I think for me, firstly, life is about creating yourself. And I think that's one thing I said previously in this podcast already. And the second thing is it links to the fact that, as I said, the wisest people in the world know they don't need to know everything. I can say what I think we're here for and what I think life is, but I generally will never know. But for me, I think life is literally just, bro.
I'm asking you to summarize everything in one, but so take your time.
I'd say for me, life is literally number one, creating yourself. Number two, developing the world. So think about all the Stone Ages, all this kind of things. We've had Ice Age, Industrial Revolutions, all that kind of stuff. Developing the world. And I think number three for me is just getting what you can out of it, making experiences, making memories, right? That's what life's about. You're not going to remember all the times you were working late. Like, I've worked late so many times. I'm only 23, but the times I've worked in my office late is crazy, right? You're not going to remember all of those when you're on your deathbed, but what you will remember is the times you traveled, the things that you've learned, how you implemented the things that you've done, times with your friends and families. That's what you remember, right? So I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of, I've been able to create. When I was younger, I didn't really have many good memories, but since I started working, I've had so many good memories about life, and that's what life's about. Creating those memories, creating yourself, and really trying to develop the world into being a more functional space, because now we're entering the digital age, right? So we'll see what the next 25 years have to hold for us. But in my opinion, that's what life's about, to be honest. But then there's so many things and new things people have been discovering. For all we know, there could be no more new fields of studies that are developed. But there probably are fields of studies that can be discovered, because who would have thought that things like linguistics would be developed, or things like astronomy would be developed. We don't know how many other planets are out there, right, in the solar system. Remember, we don't know much about what's beneath us in the ocean either. Maybe that creates a new field of study. You never know. So I'd say those are my three things.
That's a beautiful answer. That's an amazing answer.
Thank you.
A lot of final questions, actually, where I like to also end this podcast is also ask people to think about their mortality a little bit. You know, not in the sense of being morbid, but also just the time that we have here. You know, when you think about your mortality, what are some of the things that you want to achieve, or some of the things that you want to do, that you want to see happen, when you want to give to the world before? Because I was often thinking about that too. I think a lot about, you know, the fact that I am a mortal being, and no matter how much I love being here and doing this and being able to do this and spending time with everyone, that it does come to an end. You know, I think, you know, I know you're not a big fan of the Stoics, but there is one quote they have that I like, was Memento Mori, which is like, think about the fact that you will die. I think that kind of helps me motivate myself, or like kind of like have me my focus on what needs to be done and what I want to do and how much time I have to do it. So yeah, final question I have for you is, do you think about your mortality? And if you do, what are some of the things that you want to achieve before before we're called home?
Yeah, I think about it. Yeah, I've got a lot of things I want to do. I think the one thing I'll share on this podcast is, again, people know I'm from a single parent household. I'll be real. A lot of people talk on single parent households that aren't from single parent households. They ain't got a clue what they're talking about. So I don't know why they're talking. I want to do things to support people from single parent households. That's always been my goal since I was 16. I don't know how it will look, but I will do it. And I was thinking about it the other day. It's definitely something I want to do. I mean, I did my TEDx talk on single parent households because I'm actually from one. I did that in Lewisham, my hometown. There's a reason I chose to do my TEDx in Lewisham, and I chose to do it on that topic.
Big up yourself for doing it, by the way. That's a big thing. Well done.
Thank you. So I definitely want to continue that kind of work, and that was just the start of it. Like, I want to be an entrepreneur, yes, that's my big goal, but a social entrepreneur at that. So that is one thing I'll share to people watching that I want to achieve. And I'll say also on the Stoics, like, obviously, man, like, big them up, obviously, you know, because we had this conversation before with the Stoics. They say good things, but I think because when I started my personal development journey, I was very much into the Stoics.
Yeah.
But then when I started discovering the other philosophers, now I'm just like, Stoics, like, you're good, but I'll come back to you. I'll circle back in 10 years.
Yeah.
I'll decide to decipher these things, but they give very, very good advice to Stoics. So
if
you guys don't know about the Stoics, which you probably do because you're watching this gentleman, right? You know, and he's a genius. And you're probably a genius because you watch these kind of things. If you're not, lock into the Stoics, research what they do, and yeah, man, literally.
Yeah, you're right. There's so much like stuff, but you are right. Like all the philosophers are so interesting, and I've loved this episode. I think you've been incredible. I would definitely want to have you back again to talk more about philosophy.
Yeah.
We just have a full-on philosophy where we just kind of dissect all our favorite philosophers and stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, Jonas. This has been incredible. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And also, before this ends, big up yourself for this podcast, because again, when we connected, I've been seeing the episodes you release, the topics you talk about. And obviously, as I told you, I love those topics as well. So not only big up yourself for this podcast, thank you for having me. And thank you for creating a space for more Black people to not only think, because some people think it's nerdy to know this stuff. You don't give a toss, which I love. And even the stuff you're doing, Gresham as well, with the lectures as well. Making that place more diverse for people like us and bringing topics that a lot of us will be more interested in.
100%.
So you're a trailblazer.
100%. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. Big up.
I appreciate you too, man. I appreciate you guys for watching too. Until next time, peace.
Peace.